Hey everyone, I'm Chelsea. Welcome to my porch. Today I wanted to hop on here and film a video that I've wanted to film for a while now, and that I've tried to sit down and film for quite some time, but I guess I'll start from the beginning. What inspired this video was a loved one had open heart surgery a couple of weeks ago, and during that time of unknown and being worried about their health and their recovery, I was pulling for certain fragrances that just gave me a little bit of comfort, you know, perfumes that felt like a warm hug to me. And then Hurricane Helene hit. And I would be remiss not to talk about Hurricane Helene and the victims of that hurricane and the disaster and destruction it caused. And if you all don't know, I live in East Tennessee, and our area thankfully was okay. But just 30 miles down the road from us was not. And of course, much of Appalachia was hit very hard by this hurricane. It's really unbelievable the effects that were felt so far inland from this hurricane, and it's overwhelming. So a few days ago, I posted to my community tab some links to some ways that you can help if you feel led, specific ways you can pray, specific ways you can donate or contribute if you feel led to do that. And I'll include links in the description box of this video too. And if you were impacted by the hurricane or have loved ones who were, and you have links or ways that you know that others can help. I know so many of us want to help. I know so many of us feel very worthless throughout all of this. And so if you know specific ways that people can help, then would you leave that information in a comment, and we can just further educate people and help spread the word of ways that people can be helping, because this is going to be a long-term recovery process. And we are just a week into it, and there are so many areas that still haven't had official aid reach them yet because they're so inaccessible with the destruction that the hurricane caused in their areas. So like I said, I'm so fortunate to be in an area that was not heavily impacted by the hurricane. We have a few very large trees leaning over our house right now that have been uprooted, so we're hoping that the tree people can get here pretty soon and get those down. But we understand too that a lot of the resources are in areas that have been hit much harder. And so if the trees fall on our house, it'll be okay because we still have our house, right? I'm gonna wrap it up because I'll get emotional. But let me just encourage you that if you are able to help any of the areas impacted by this hurricane, then please look at organizations that have boots on the ground right now and who are in these areas that were hit really hard and who are helping the survivors of this hurricane. So that I felt like needed to be addressed because this is real life, right? Like our treasure, this is not our treasure. Perfume does not matter, and life is precious. We are called to store our treasure in heaven, because this earth will pass away. I guess as I open this video and I talk about these perfumes in my collection that I've been reaching for because they do feel like warm hugs to me, they're comforting to me. I mean, no perfume is going to provide us like deep, soul-filling peace. No material thing is going to provide that. but it does provide some sort of sensory comfort, a feeling of a warm hug around you when things are overwhelming, when things are stressful and hard. And so I don't know, let me just encourage you too that maybe instead of buying a travel size of one of these I'm talking about, maybe donate to people in need instead. Redirect those funds if you feel led to do that. But I still want to talk about these that I've been going to throughout the past few weeks, and getting a little sensory comfort from them in a time that has felt really overwhelming. The first one that I want to talk about is the ultimate comforting fragrance that I have in my collection, and it's Guerlain's Mon Guerlain. It's a lavender vanilla with the classic Guerlain vanilla in it. This one it's one that I often will just go up to in my closet and just lift the cap and smell it when I'm feeling overwhelmed, or I need a little bit, you know, of that cozy, comforting feeling just throughout my day. If you all watch my channel, then you know how much I love Mon Guerlain, and it's one that I will forever have in my collection. I've described it as smelling like a warm embrace. It does, specifically from a mom. It reminds me so much of just a hug from a mom, from a dear loved one. And it's just such a beautiful, comforting, feminine fragrance. It has lavender and bergamot at the top, which it doesn't have like a tea-like quality to it. I don't know. Actually, really what I get from this fragrance, and I don't know that I've ever heard anyone mention it about Mon Guerlain, but I get kind of a coffee accord from it. Not a bitter coffee, and not like a specific coffee note. I don't know if it's the spices blended with the sandalwood, because I know there's licorice and coumarin in here. I don't know, something about the blend of this fragrance, it reminds me of freshly brewed coffee. So there's no bitterness. It's just this comforting, it's extremely comforting to me. And coffee is a tremendous comfort to me. So that with the soft aromatic lavender and the beautiful, elegant, romantic vanilla that's typical of Guerlain fragrances is just like the ultimate warm hug. And so this one is my number one as far as comforting, warm and cozy fragrances go. This next one is one that I like to wear to bed and I love to wear around the house after I've had my nighttime shower and we're gonna watch TV or watch a movie on the couch, and then I'll even spray my pillow before I go to sleep. It's MAC's Crème de Nude. It is a fluffy, musky, caramely, warm fragrance that is a little bit sensual. The musk in here is it's an ambrette, a musk mellow. So if you're not familiar with ambrette, it is a fluffier musk. It's a warmer musk as opposed to like a white musk that's clean and laundry-like. Ambrette has just this like fluffy, enveloping, skin-like feel to it, and it has some floral nuances too. So I don't know that there are actually florals in this fragrance. There might be. I'm not sure that there are like specific floral notes, but the musk mellow I think brings a little bit of a floral nuance to it. And then that combined with the caramel and suede, there's a suede note in here. And so it lends a suede-like texture even to this fragrance. Crème de Nude, I think, is a perfect name for it. And it has great sillage for the first couple of hours, great performance for the first couple of hours too. And then after that, it kind of whispers. It is a soft, suede-like fragrance that, like I said, I just love to wear before bed, and it helps calm me and comforts me and is a little bit sensual, like I said, with that caramel and that ambrette and that suede. I think it's an excellent, warm and comforting fragrance. And I think I paid like $35 for this bottle or something. It was not expensive. And I did get it a little bit on sale, but I think even at normal price, it's like less than $50. So I highly recommend this one, MAC Crème de Nude. This next one, it reminds me a little bit of Crème de Nude, and I even sometimes am reminded of Mon Guerlain. It's a Viva La Juicy Gold Couture. I know that this one was really popular a few years ago. In my last video, I talked about the Viva La Juicy Sucre. It's the one that looks like, it's the flanker that looks like it's in like a little cupcake wrapper. And that one is really fun and creamy and sugary and super, super girly. This one is a little bit more grown up, if you can say Viva La Juicies are grown up. This one also has the Viva La Juicy DNA to it. So it has that gardenia, but it has caramel mixed in with it, and then a vanilla base. A lot of these that I'm gonna talk about, I think all of them actually have a vanilla base to them. Vanilla is very comforting to me, but this one in particular, the Gold Couture, it's the Viva La Juicy DNA with caramel and vanilla, and a lot of white florals too. It's another one that's a little bit sensual, but so comforting to me. This is another one that I love to wear around the house. I love to wear it after my nighttime shower. And it's a great soft fragrance. So if you're going out and you're going to be in close quarters with others and you just want something that's cozy and feels like a feminine hug, then this one is great, because I don't think it could ever be offensive to anyone. It's girly and cozy. You know what this smells like to me? This is gonna sound crazy. Where Mon Guerlain smells like a warm embrace from your mom, or a mother-like figure, Viva La Juicy Gold Couture smells like your favorite babysitter when you were growing up. The really cute, really sweet girl who did all of the really fun things, and you just felt so safe and taken care of by her, and you guys would have movie nights, and you were always kind of sad when your parents came home and she had to leave. This is what Gold Couture smells like to me, just like your favorite babysitter when you were growing up. Another one that I will be getting a full-size bottle of as soon as this runs out, and it's pretty close, is Kilian's Princess. This is a tea marshmallow fragrance that has a note of, I want to say matcha tea, and there's a little bit of ginger to give it some kick, and there's lemon at the top, but a marshmallow and vanilla base. In the beginning, you get this really uplifting tea aroma with that lemon, but then the marshmallow comes through really quickly, and it's not like a sticky, gooey, sugary marshmallow. It's a fluffy marshmallow with some powdery quality to it. Like when you open the bag of marshmallows and there's that dusting of powder all over the marshmallows, that's kind of the texture you're getting from this fragrance, as well as that uplifting tea with the ginger and the lemon. And there are some floral notes in here too. I can't pick out exactly what the florals are, but there's definitely a floral quality to this fragrance. It's really so well blended and unique to my collection. I love that you're getting the tea and the marshmallow and those floral components. And it's not necessarily like you're holding the cup of tea. To me, it's like you're wrapped in a warm, cozy blanket, and somebody next to you has a cup of green tea and they've squeezed a little bit of lemon in it, and you're eating a bowl of mini marshmallows. Maybe even the rainbow colored mini marshmallows. That's what I'm getting from this. And it seems like it's light wearing. And it is a lighter fragrance, but it has excellent longevity on me. And the Kilian fragrances just get stronger and stronger throughout the wear time on my skin, with my skin chemistry. I'll spray them and they seem light, and then several hours later, they seem stronger to me, and they've really fully developed throughout the day. This is one I get compliments on pretty regularly when I wear it. and I can't wait to add a full-size bottle of Kilian Princess. Speaking of tea fragrances, I have this sample here of Jovoy Paris Remember Me from Scent Split, which is where I get nearly all of my samples if they're niche fragrances from Scent Split. But it is another tea fragrance that reminds me of Kilian's Princess, but it is woodier and spicier, and it doesn't have the white florals. I think it's white florals, now that it's coming back to me, that are in Kilian Paris. It doesn't have the white florals that Kilian Princess does. There might be some florals in here, but it's different. It's woodier and spicier. And Remember Me is more like you are holding the mug of tea. And I don't know that it's green tea this time. I think maybe it's a mug of black tea. And you've put some citrus in it. You squeezed a lemon wedge in it, and you're sitting there holding your mug, and you're like in a cozy bookstore or a library, and you're sitting in your plush chair, and you're getting whiffs of like the old bookcases. That's kind of the imagery I get from this. I think that this one is more unisex than Kilian Princess is. Kilian Princess to me is definitely a feminine fragrance, but Jovoy's Remember Me, I think anybody can wear any fragrance, but I would love to smell this one on my husband, and I have really loved my sample, and it is a comfort to me. And it's another one where when I've been feeling overwhelmed, I'll just go up to it in my closet and I'll spray the back of my hand so that I can just smell it all throughout the day, and it helps calm me. It gives me that sensory comfort that I've talked about, and it just helps me take a minute, you know? It just take a little second. Just to take a second. Jovoy Remember Me, I would love to have at least a travel size, if not a full size bottle of this in my collection sometime soon. Hey friends, I forgot to mention when I was filming this video that Jovoy's Remember Me has a milk note. And some people find it to be a very prominent milk note in the perfume, but myself, I do not consider this a very lactonic fragrance. I hardly pick up that milk facet to it at all. So just a heads up, because it can be very polarizing. I know that some people really struggle with milk notes and lactonic fragrances. So something to keep in mind as you are considering a fragrance like this. Definitely try before you buy. This one right here, Sol de Janeiro's Cheirosa 40. This one reminds me a lot of a past favorite from college. It was Roberto Cavalli's Just Cavalli for Her or something. I don't know. I've talked about it before. I think in my very first video that I ever posted. And this one reminds me so much of it. And it is so comforting to me. It basically is plum, jasmine, and vanilla. Okay, it says black, amber, plum, vanilla woods, and musk. It's a super juicy body mist and has excellent performance, I feel like. It's another one that I love to spray all over before bed and all over my pillow. If there is a fragrance that you're spraying before bed, then it probably falls under the warm and comforting category. But this one, even though it's really juicy, something about it is comforting to me. And my daughter has the purple one. I don't know what number it is, and I think it has purple powdery florals in it, maybe violet or iris, which I do find so comforting and so hug-like. But for whatever reason, this is the one that I find more comforting. People also compare this one to Xerjoff's Dama Bianca, which I do have Dama Bianca, and I do love Dama Bianca, but it's not a comforting fragrance to me. It's an elegant, classy, romantic perfume that I wouldn't wear to bed. But for whatever reason, Cheirosa 40 is a warm and comforting fragrance in my collection. I couldn't find the next one that I wanted to talk about because my daughter carries it off all the time so that she can spray it before bed. And I have no idea where she's put it, and she doesn't know where she's carried it off to either. But it is Clinique's, it's the purple one, Clinique Cocoa and Cashmere. And it is probably the most gourmand-like out of the collection here that I've brought out. Some of these lean gourmand, but I would not consider them a gourmand fragrance. But Cocoa and Cashmere, I think, is the most gourmand leaning. It has the fluffy, cocooning, kind of cashmere-like, well, oh, it's called Cocoa and Cashmere. It has this like cashmere-like musk to it that reminds me a lot of the MAC Crème de Nude. I'm actually surprised that Cashmere is not a note listed, at least I don't think so. It's not a note listed for Crème de Nude or Cocoa and Cashmere, but whatever musk is in both of these fragrances is this really fluffy and warm and just cocooning musk that is so comforting. And of course there's cacao in Cocoa and Cashmere, and probably vanilla if I had to guess. I don't have the notes in front of me, but it also has a touch of saltiness, just a little bit of saltiness to it that does smell like a cup of hot chocolate. Like, you know, when you're dumping the packet of hot chocolate, the hot chocolate mix into your mug, and you get like the dust is kind of escaping the mug and you're getting whiffs of it. It's a little bit salty, and then even the hot chocolate itself, once you've made it, has a touch of saltiness to it. Cocoa and Cashmere has that a little bit. I don't know that I would call it a salty fragrance, but it does have that. It is almost a little photorealistic to hot chocolate there for a little bit throughout the wear of the fragrance. Like there in the beginning, I get it. And it actually, that's another one that's a great bang for your buck. It's really inexpensive and it has really decent performance. So when my daughter sprays it on herself before bed, or she just sprays her little nightgown and we'll walk around the house, I can always smell it on her. So the sillage, at least for a few hours, is really impressive. And then I can smell it on her clothes. Then when I'm like doing laundry later on, a few days later, like I'll be throwing the laundry in and I'll get whiffs of Cocoa and Cashmere off of her pajamas. So that is another one that I think is so comforting, that my daughter especially finds very cozy and comforting. And another one that's an excellent bang for your buck, like I said. Oh, there's one more that I have to mention. It's not in my collection, but anytime I'm at a department store that has it and I'm walking by, I have to stop and lift the cap and sniff it, and I have to spray it on me because I find it so comforting, especially on rainy days. And I feel like I often am at the mall or a mall on a rainy day. It is Estee Lauder's the Erin line Amber Musk. That is another one that has such a soft and smooth musk to it that just feels skin-like, and it's like a fragrance that whispers but kind of like holds you in its embrace. And I think that that one is ultra comforting. I can't speak to the performance on it because I only ever test it when I'm at the department stores, and it's hard to fully test a fragrance when you're at a mall or something. But that is another one that I find very comforting. All right, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me here on the porch, and thank you for listening to me just share my heart with you about Hurricane Helene and all that's happening. And if you feel, like I said, if you feel led to give, or if you feel led to maybe forego buying a travel size fragrance or some samples and redirect that money toward relief efforts anywhere here in the Southeast, or wherever you feel led to give, if you do feel led to give, I think that that would just be so great and would be so appreciated. Yeah, my heart has just been real heavy lately. We've had loved ones who have been directly impacted. It's been a little bit of a scary time, but it'll get better. I know that it'll get better. And I shared about my loved one who had open heart surgery, and they are healing well. So I'm so thankful for that. But like I said, this is not our treasure, right? It's just not. It's not what matters. It's fun to talk about, and it's nice to have some sensory comforts available to us. But you know what? Even stepping outside and taking a deep breath of fresh air, that's all we really need too, you know? It's all we need. It is still fun to gather as a community and talk about things that we enjoy, but also keeping our focus on eternal things and things that are actually important. So thank you for hearing me out and hearing my heart on that. What are your most comforting fragrances in your collection? What are the ones that you go to and you lift the cap off of them and you just take a second? You just take a second to pause and regroup and get through the rest of your day. What are the fragrances that help you a little bit with that when things are feeling overwhelming or hard or even just busy, you know, just busy and a little stressful? Share those with us. And yeah, thank you again for being here, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.